Soulful shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. I mean, like, we can put all that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thoughts in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Good morning, people. What's going on, man? It's G. We're back in the building. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody is blessed and they're having a great start to the week. Yes, it is only Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. So, we're just starting off the week, a few things, of course, just popping off, etc., etc. We're back with another Euro Club episode. We're on episode 11. This one's actually a big one. This one and the next one, episode 11, episode 12, I think are going to be two very, very good episodes. Of course, we've got the Champions League games, coming back into effect after the international break. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, of course, we know of the big tie, very, very big tie in this round between two of the teams, actually, that I am going to be talking about today. So, of course, we will get into that. But, guys, as always, please make sure you are smashing the like, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. So, first up, let's start off in Serie A. Let's start off in Italy. With Juventus. So, obviously, as I mentioned before in the last episode, this episode as well, of course, we're coming back after the international break. Excuse me. Obviously, teams after the international break, it's always a tricky one. And it was a tricky one for Juventus, if I'm being totally honest with you. In my personal opinion, of course, they won their game 1-0 against Lazio. Fairs. But I'll be honest, watching that game back, I felt Juve, I don't know what it is, yeah. Obviously, they haven't conceded much. I think it's only one goal, actually, potentially in the league as it is, or two, potentially. I'll double check, but haven't conceded that much. Obviously, got the new manager in Thiago Motta, got new players in, basically a whole new midfield. They've let players like Chiesa go, Saul go as well. So, and, brought in a couple of other players to kind of replace them. Fair enough. But there's just something about them when I watch them. I'm like, maybe it's just because they've got a new manager. Maybe it's, listen, I can't expect everyone to be like Arne Slot, to be honest with you. Can't win every game. Playing good football, along the way, in parts anyway. I think with Juve, it's almost like it's like a slow stutter. It's like a stutter, but they're getting there, if that makes sense, And of course, if you're not losing games, that makes it a lot easier, for the manager to be able to implement what he's trying to do, because at least then that way it doesn't look so bad on the face of it. Because the reality is, as much as we are in a results business and, people like the projects and stuff like that, ultimately you need to get the wins. And at a club like Juventus, it's a must. There is no, let's just draw a couple games. No, we need to get the W's. And if we're not getting the W's, then there's going to be an inquest into why we're not getting those W's, right? So, when it comes to a team like Juve, especially with the new manager, Allegri gone, players leaving, all of that kind of stuff, surrounding the club, I feel like they're kind of entering into this new phase, new transition, whatever you want to call it, new project, whatever. And maybe they're trying to, get rid of some of the old kind of, would I say, ideologies that they had at the football club. But, just in regards to like this game specifically, it was another struggle for them. It was late on that they were able to get the goal. But yeah, it was just one of those kind of games, if I'm being honest. Juan Cabal played really, really good in the game. The defender for Juventus, as you guys can see here, obviously 5 duels won, 5 ball recoveries, 94 pass accuracy as well. So yeah, played good in the game, whatever, no problem. But yeah, like I said, just with Juve, it's just, there's just something about them. It's weird. It's like, I'm just not fully convinced at this moment in time. But at the same time, I don't want to sound like I'm being too harsh on Juventus. As I said with everything just before about, new team and manager, style of play, and all of it. It's going to take a minute, and maybe in the next 6 months or whenever, towards the back end of the season, they will start to look really, really good. But just right now, it's like you're winning, but am I convinced? Not entirely. I would fear if they were to play like a really top team, especially in the Champions League and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like it would be curtains for them in particular. But listen, we'll get there when we get there. Of course, as you can see, and as I said in the league, look, you're 3 points off the top to Napoli. Napoli and Inter are really going strong this season, but they're only 3 points behind. They're only 3 points behind at this current moment in time. A couple of points ahead of AC Milan as well. So yeah, they're doing their thing this season. They are doing their thing. So it's not plus 10 goal difference as well, joint highest in the league with Napoli. So, they're doing what they need to be doing, in order for them to, get these results and, just to kind of keep things ticking, keep things kind of moving forward. But yeah, as I said before, in that game against Lazio, it honestly, man, it was a hard watch. And I only watched like short highlights, which like 12, 15 minutes, of the game compressed into that time, right? And even from that, I was like, bloody hell, this is a hard watch. Do you know what I mean? So God knows what the actual full game, kind of looked like. But just, from the highlights that I did see, like I said before, I can see what he's trying to do, but it's just, oh yeah, like I say, to me anyway, again, just my own opinion. Of course, Juventus fans are gonna have their opinion. They watch the team week in, week out, and they analyze their team, a lot more in depth than I really do, to be honest. But just as an outsider looking in, it's like you've got some of the parts there. Maybe, of course, more transfer windows and stuff like that, be able to get in, a few more of the players that he wants and stuff like that. Players like Koop Miners, who came into the team late, and all of these kind of things, to be able to implement, and integrate really with the squad. Like I say, maybe in the future it looks a lot better. Right now, though, I'm just like, I said this before about Vlahovic as well. Oh yeah, like I said, man. I know they got Pogba, that whole situation. I'd love to know what the resolution to that would be as well. They're going to, integrate him back into the squad once his time, with the ban is up and stuff like that. You got players like Yildiz, he's a very, very good player like Yildiz. But, Vlahovic, he's another, I'm sorry, but he is not good enough for me. I'm sorry. Like Juve, if you're trying to for now, he's good. He's one of those, he's the Lacazette right now. You know Lacazette for Arsenal. He's that type of striker where you're like, yeah. You're okay. You can do a job for us right now. You get what I'm trying to say? When we get better, then cool. Maybe like a Gyökeres. I don't know if he would. Well, he would. I feel like he would go to Juventus because they're a much bigger club than Sporting Lisbon, right? But someone like that, you just need someone like that. And I feel like your team just looks. Because you got the young players. You know what I'm trying to say? They got the young players in the team already. And in the youth system and stuff like that, get a striker like that. And I don't feel like that's a crazy move. Do you get what I'm trying to? And it wouldn't really, and I'll be so honest, it wouldn't even surprise me if they got like a Gyökeres, because I just don't know if Gyökeres would come to like Premier League and where would he go and who would he go to? And yeah, all the like, go to somewhere like Juventus, biggest club there. Yo, it could be curtains, man. Could be curtains. But yeah, that's just the way I look at it for Juventus at this current moment, in time. But listen, got the victory, sitting third in the league, cannot complain. Lyon, you guys will remember for the last, not the previous episode, I think maybe even the episode before then. And to be honest, I would say basically episode 1. No, I'll be fair. From episode 3 till about 8, 9, I've just been cussing Lyon more or less all the time. Even when they've gotten wins, I'm like, whatever. But Lyon are going on a little bit of a run now. They're getting the victories. And I said, when you come back up, because they won their game before the international break, I said, when they come back and come up against Le Havre, I said, you have to get the victory. You have to get the victory. You need to, it's not even necessarily about playing well, which they did, by the way. I felt like they played really, really well. Very convincing victory, for Lyon. Very good performances from a couple of their players. But it was more for me about like keeping up the momentum. If you can keep up the momentum, then it's not gonna be so bad. Players like Fofana, scoring goals, Benrahma, Lacazette, these guys they're hitting very, very good form in my personal opinion, when I look at them, in a general kind of sense, 4-0 in this game, 2-0 the previous game, beat Rangers 4-1, 2-1 to, they are winning games now. That's 5 in a row that they have now won, and they've now got, obviously, their next games in the Europa League, against Besiktas. So it's going to be so interesting to kind of see, how they do moving forward. But I'm actually happier now because I'm like, Lyon, I didn't know, obviously it's early in the season, isn't it? So it's difficult to really tell, to be honest with you. It's hard to gauge with certain things, but certain players, Tolizo, these players, Shirky, we know what he's about. Come on, man, baller. Maitland-Niles, these kind of players, they're just kind of coming into their own. I'll be honest with you. To me, anyway, it feels like that, that they are kind of coming into their own. And once you start doing things like that, you've won 3 on the bounce, in the league in itself, 5 in all competitions. When you start doing those kind of things, you're now getting the goals. They've scored 14 goals this season, still conceded 12, but obviously that was kind of prior, before, like what I say, in those episodes that I was cussing them, that's kind of what it was. Now they're starting to build a little bit, they've scored quite, like I said, 14 goals is up there, top 5, 6 teams in the league, and it didn't seem like that at the beginning. It really didn't seem like that, at the beginning, So players like, as I mentioned, the Ben Rahmas and the Fofanas of this world. Fofana looks like a decent player, by the way. Didn't really know too much about him. I can't even lie, but he looks like a decent player. Looks like a really, really decent player. So it's going to be interesting to see, of course, how they move forward. And now, as I mentioned before, move up the league. If you keep getting these victories, you move up the league. And you can see, obviously, the gap between them and, say, PSG, for example, and Monaco is obviously a bit bigger. That's 7 points. But look at the differences, if you guys see here on your screens, between 7th and even 3rd. That's only 4 points in it. It's only 4 points in it. But, okay, let's even go from 7th to 4th. Win your next game, all of a sudden now, you're sitting in 4th. Did you get what I'm trying to say? All of a sudden, now everything just looks different. Perspectives, right? Perspectives. What I said about Juventus, it's that just keep on winning, keep on doing your thing, and all of a sudden things just look a little bit different. They just look different, and it makes it easier. Obviously, they haven't got a new manager in. Obviously, they've had this manager since last season, but you know what I mean? It just, things look different. The outlook, the perspective, and all of that kind of stuff. It just looks a lot different. And you can kind of see that, with Juventus, with Lyon, at this current moment in time, man. Honestly, I'm happy that I'm there. They look like they're good at free-flowing football. The connections between the players, especially the front players as well, how they all connect. Lacazette playing his role in the team as like the big brother, kind of figure in the team. I like that. The leadership kind of qualities that he's now starting to exhibit a little bit more. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Lyon. Of course, listen, I'm not saying they can't lose games and you still can't exhibit those things, but I just couldn't really see it. And it just seemed like, Jesus Christ. But maybe they bought a lot of players into, again, just like a Juventus, trying to integrate. And obviously they're not as good as Juventus. So maybe trying to integrate all of these kind of players into the team and stuff like that. It's for some teams, it's not going to be as easy. So maybe I was being a little bit too harsh, but hey, listen, it is what it is. Bayern Munich. Oh man, these men are mad. Big up Savage. I remember we were talking about, this Bayern Munich game, potentially being a bit of a banana skin for them, in terms of Stuttgart, being pretty decent and stuff like that. Nah, Harry Kane said, "What do you mean it's going to be a tough game? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I'm just going to score a hat trick. How about that? I'm going to score a hat trick. This guy is, yeah." This guy is, it's making me sick. I said this before. Him and what's his name? Haaland. What's his name? As if these guys are just anybody's. Him and Haaland are just, they are annoying creatures. They are annoying creatures. 7 games played in the league. He scored 8 goals and got 4 assists. That's 12 GA for the GA guys. But we don't really care about the GA because he's a striker, right? 8 goals anyway. 8 goals. Yeah, that's just in the league. Lord knows how many more he's got, outside of the league. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's not just him. It's not even just him. It's other players in the team as well, who are just performing at this like really exciting. But I know one of the teams, I can't lie, going forward, they proper excite me as a team. They're probably one of the top 2. And to be honest, they're my top 2. them and Barcelona are the two most exciting teams going forward. Watching them play because they've just got players that you have to love these guys. The Lamine Yamals, the Rafinhas, the Lewandowskis, the Olises, Harry Kanes, Matisse Tel, Jamal Musiala. It's bad. It's so bad. Here's obviously Vincent. Let me not get too excited. This is obviously Vincent Kompany talking about it. After the game, we have won and can celebrate something before we go against Barcelona. We will always continue to work on the details to improve. And of course, again, looking forward to that game, Bayern versus Barcelona. That is going to be absolutely amazing, I think, anyway. But listen, both teams are playing well this season. Both teams top of their leagues as well. It's looking good for both teams. Looking good. Do you know what I mean? Elise won September. So we're in October. He won the September Player of the Month. Again, am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not surprised because Elise has been on fire. It's so mad, yeah, when I think about it. And it's kind of deep as well when I think about it. It's deep because for Elise, he has just gone from strength to strength, right? And obviously, he's in a super team like, in Germany anyway. Super team over there in the German football league, right? And he plays for one of the best teams in Europe as well, kind of thing in Bayern Munich, Gnabry's, the Mullers, the Kimmiches, Davis, Neuer, Kane, and that's just the Musiala, the players I ain't even mentioned. Like, they've got all of these kind of players. Eze, on the other hand, it's just been a bit, I mean, Eze is my guy. Both of them are my guy. I'll still take both of them at Liverpool right now. You know what I'm saying? Especially supposed to, what I'm saying? Not really doing this thing, but, I would still take these kind of players at my football club today. And, at this current moment in time, Elise just looks like he's just gone from strength to strength to strength. And it's like, obviously you're playing with better players, so it's inevitably going to look better. But he just looks more, he looks like he fits in. Like, he doesn't even look like he's out of place. And I feel like Elise is so clever, man. So that move to Bayern Munich, that is such a good move. Especially at this age as well. Because remember, you don't have to stay there for your whole career. You can spend 5 years there, yeah, and still move to another team, depending on what your development looks like. But or you could stay there for the rest of your career and just have a banging career over there, make it into the France national team, win leagues over here. Like, your legacy will still remain. People, God, like, I'm gonna go off in a rant. Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. But like, people always think like to themselves, yeah, you have to play in this league to be considered this guy, and rare tech. You don't have to do none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And Elise didn't really know too much about him, of course, but Elise just seemed like, bro, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm going to do what I want to do. And I just feel like him, Musiala, Matisse Tel, like, these guys are so clever, man. Like, going to a team like Bayern where you're all but guaranteed, to win, trophies on a consistent basis, at this kind of football club, and then which then boosts your profile as an individual, because then obviously you get the opportunity to, of course, then win in Champions Leagues and, things of that kind of ilk. Bro, like, these are clever moves, man. Honestly, Elise smart. Good thing he did not go to the Premier League. Scrutiny, going to the wrong team. It might not work out. Is this the right move? Am I gonna play? All of these kind of things start to come into play. All of these things come into play. Him going to think he can get better and better and better, become one of the best, which I think he will be, one of the best, if not the best right winger in the world. And then do whatever you want to do after that. Stay, go, whatever. It's really good, man. It's really, really good. Right? Honestly, Elise, one of my top 3 probably favorite players right about now, alongside Musiala and Lamine Yamal. But yeah, FC Bayern, of course, as I mentioned before, top of the league, joint with RB Leipzig, which is interesting. Of course, you guys stay tuned for my preview. Will be coming out on the Wednesday, so I'll be doing that live in the morning as per usual. RB Leipzig versus Liverpool in the Champions League. 2 teams going really, really hammer and tongs in the league. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, Bayern doing their thing, plus 17 goals. Do you know what I mean? They're scoring goals for fun. So let's wait and see. But let's go to my boys. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to my boys. My boys. Hey, it's a good time to be a fan right now for me. Right now, boy. Both my teams are top of the league. Liverpool and Barcelona. Both top of the league. I cannot complain. Barca, come on. Again, big up Savage. We were talking about this game as well in terms of I thought it might be a tad bit of a banana skin. Potentially, because I thought he was going to rest players, to be fair. I did think that, Hansi Flick was going to decide to rest players, especially because he got that game against Bayern. But he said, nah, we don't really need to do that. You know, I can bring players off. Let's get the victory first. You know, let's get Lewandowski a couple goals. You know what I'm saying? Pablo Torre got himself a couple of goals as well. Yeah, I mean, big up to himself. Pedri, Pedri, Mr. Iniesta himself. You know what I'm saying? You know, doing his thing. Oh, amazing, man. Amazing. And of course, we had Gavi coming back. Into the team. This picture is just dope. Like, this, obviously, the player should be kind of like switched around a little bit, of course. You know, because I would say Pedri is more like Iniesta and Gavi is more like a Xavi, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. It's just the way that the picture kind of obviously just come out. Photoshop guys get to work. But yeah, listen, this is literally it right here. You know, I can't even, like, this is literally it. This is what they're trying to create, which is Xavi Iniesta. And I swear to God, if they create that, it's gonna be bad. I don't think you guys understand. You're talking about two of the best young players in the entire world. In fact, they're even up there with some of the best players in the world in their respective positions, right? Pedri especially, just because Gavi's missed, you know, quite a lot of football recently. And it's a bit annoying that, you know, Gavi weren't able to be a part of, you know, the Spain squad. Was Pedri a part of the squad? I can't remember if he was injured. I feel like Pedri was injured. I think he was there, but then he was injured. But he would have a medal, right? But Gavi, I wish Gavi was there because it would have been so sick to see Gavi, Pedri, Lamine Yamal again. Barcelona vibe. You know what I'm saying, bro? Spain are good. When Barcelona are good, Spain are good. That's all they need to know. When Barca are good, Spain are usually good. They're not good when Real Madrid and that. Like, bro, who's Spanish in Real Madrid? Carvajal and that. Don't worry about that. He's good though, but don't worry about that. When Barca are good, Spain are going to be good. Kobasi. Hey, come on, man. When Barca are doing their thing, man, it's difficult for Spain to not be good. Because then what you do is you dot them around with the Rodri, Zubamendis, you know, those kind of players like Norman, you know, I think he's at Atletico Madrid, the centre back. You know, the Cucureas, you know, the Carvajals. You know, even they just need a striker, you know. Now I come to think of it about Spain. Obviously, Morata does his job, but I don't know what type of striker they need. Maybe like a David Villa type of striker. Someone like that. It doesn't have to, like, he's obviously, I was going to say he's not clinical, but obviously he's clinical. But someone of that kind of ilk. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But who's out there? Who's out there? Obviously, Barca, as I said, top of the league. Bayern Munich next. And the El Clasico straight after. Oh, honestly, man, it's been a big week for both of my teams, man. Big week, you know. Gonna be a big week by the end of this week. I'm hoping I've seen 6 victories. So obviously 3 for Barca, 3 for Liverpool. That would be the perfect end to the week, heading into the half term over here in the UK. So yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. This title race looks like it's gonna be real interesting. It's a Barca Real Madrid race. I think the rest you'll start to see a gap. Once Madrid can build a bit more of a gap, but obviously that will more depend on when they face those other teams. But they do look a little bit, once they start to build that gap, yeah, that's when you'll start to, you know, really start to see, you know, things start to really click into gear, man. But yeah, let's wait and see, man. Wait and see. But of course, the big game this week we've got, of course, is the Bayern Munich versus Barcelona game. I'm gonna maybe try and do like a little tactic of that game afterwards, obviously on the same flipping time as Liverpool versus bloody RB. Like, why they couldn't play on other days? So I'm gonna have to really put both screens up and watch that game and watch both games, to be honest with you, because I really want to lock into these games, man. I really want to see what's kind of going on. Guys, listen, man, end of the episode. Make sure you guys lock in. Make sure you stay tuned. I will catch you guys episode 11, episode 12. We'll see how the week goes, actually, because you never know, I might do a special kind of thing, you know, in regards to, just because everyone's got European football this week as well. So we'll wait and see anyway. So just make sure you got your notification bells on. Make sure you stay locked in. Make sure you tune in to my RB Leipzig versus Liverpool match preview. And I'll catch you guys on the other side. Peace.